Do you get it? Some things might be unexpected to us. Nothing is unexpected to him. Nothing. I was looking at the worship order this afternoon, and the gals up here in the band didn't know what was going to happen with the church paying for, what's his name? To adopt his children. And I saw good Father on the praise set. And I said, do you know what's happening this afternoon? And they said, no. And I said, oh, nothing's unexpected. That God said, I, through your giving to this church, am going to make someone a father through adoption. And I'm even going to have the worship team sing the song, Good, Good Father. Do you get it? It's really good. He's really good. And I think sometimes God's up there almost going, oh, this is going to work really well. I think he's so excited to see when we listen to him, because he goes, oh, I got this plan and this plan and this plan, and these 3 little babies are going to have the same mama, and then she's going to find love too. And then these 3 babies, through this church, are going to have a legal father. He's already a spiritual father. They're going to have a legal father. I'm solidifying it. And then I'm going to call Kirsten, who has this really weird adoption story, to come and tell her story. And then they're all going to sing, Good, Good Father. It's not unexpected. Nah. Oh, he's the best planner ever. We think it's unexpected, but God's like, oh, I got this planned out so well. And Beverly and I have been talking for a long time about what do we call this? What is our theme going to be? And we finally came up with the unexpected. Not so unexpected to God. He's like, oh, I got the word and it's unexpected, but it's not going to be unexpected. It isn't a surprise to him whatever we walk through. We just said, this is so good. And we just sang it in Revelation song, what he was and is to come. Somehow, at the very same time, he is the Alpha and Omega. He is somehow, and I might be off on my theology, just love me. I fly to Branson back tomorrow night, so love me. I'm through this theology. Somehow out of our time, he is in the past still. He is right now in the present, and he's also in our future, all at the same time. We don't get it. But he's like, unexpected, that isn't even a word to me because I'm already in the future. And I like to visualize it as we're right here looking around going, I don't get this. What in the world? And he's saying, I'm in your future already. Trust me. Take my hand. Let me guide you through this unexpected, not unexpected to me because I'm already in your future. He already knows how it's all going to work out for us. He already sees those 3 babies all grown up. Do we understand? I don't understand it. His ways are higher than our ways. But God already ordained father and mother and babies, even though they're born from someone else. Same story. And can I tell you how God is really, really good in all of this? When I read that paperwork, one of the things that jumped out in my story was that I didn't have a legal father and there was no name. We're just pretty much girls here, right? That's spelled B-A-S-T-A-R-D. Will you still love me? I'm going back to Branson tomorrow night. You can talk about me tomorrow night using that word. When I was growing up, that was almost a word worthy of getting soap in the mouth. Did anyone else ever get zest in my mouth? Oh, I got zest in my mouth. I didn't even know what the word meant, but it got me soap in my mouth. But through my discovery and my story, I realized that was still love me, a title of who I was. That's how I came into the world. I was one night World's Fair. So Dave wasn't really that far off on the whole freak circus. I'm a product of the World's Fair one night, my birth father and my birth mother, actually, if you guys have that photo, the mensch, all the little ones, you can put that up and I'll talk about that. If that comes up, that's okay. If not. Oh, there it is. My birth mother is the oldest on the right. That was 1956. Pretty and perfect little family. My grandfather was director of advertising with Eastman Kodak Company. They posed for pictures. It was the perfect little family. And then that gorgeous gal on the right had one night, her very first time, working the World's Fair for Eastman Kodak. And I came into the world. My title, B-A-S-T-A-R-D. I don't want soap in my mouth. I'm actually saying the right word, the actual whole word. That's who I was. And God looked at me and said, oh, I'm going to rewrite your story. That's where you came from. But here's something else, and God is he is a good, good father. Because 5 years ago, our son Tyler, our oldest, the father of Bella Rose, the most gorgeous baby in the world. You can send me your pictures, and your grandkids, I'm sure they're cute, but mine's way more beautiful. I'm just putting that out there. Again, I'm going back to Branson tomorrow night so you can show everyone your pictures. 5 years ago, our son Tyler was in our home. He came home for a break. And I was in the kitchen. My boys like bacon. So I was cooking up bacon, and which is kind of funny, too, because now my son lives in Israel, and you can't find a piece of bacon anywhere. Some of you will get that on the car ride home. You're like, bake? Okay. And I'm cooking bacon, and our son, Tyler's sitting on the counter. I love when my boys are in the kitchen sitting on the counter. I love that. And I'm cooking breakfast, and I said to him, I said, so, anyone you're interested in or dating? He said, yeah, I'm in love. And I'm like, you're in love? You never told us. And typical boy answer, he goes, well, you never asked me. Like a girl would have been like, oh my gosh, I have a big date tonight, Mom. What do I do? And my son falls in love, and I have no idea. And the next thing he said, as I'm cooking bacon, he said, and she has a little boy. And I'm cooking the bacon, I thought, how I respond to that statement will determine the relationship I have with my son for the rest of his life. And I said, you're in love with someone that has a boy? You mean we could be instant grandparents and you've kept that from us? That's amazing. God already knew that he would give me my story of how B-A-S-T-A-R-D, that's who I am. Because he was already in the future. He's the Alpha, but yet he's also the Omega. He is in the future. And he knew that my son would fall in love with the most amazing girl that already had a little boy from a non-marriage relationship in high school. And God knew my story given to me to know how I came into the world from one night. And God, he's a good, good father, said, oh, now you know your story. Because you don't have any idea that I have this little boy down the road who's so meant to be your grandson. But he came from the same kind of situation that you came from. So when I met Landon, he's 9 now, I thought, oh, God, you are a good, good father. You had this boy ordained for me to be his grandma, and I buy him everything because I just love it. Do you get it? Nothing's unexpected. I don't know, and we can't play the would've, could've, should've game. I don't know if I had never found out that I came from a mother and father that weren't married, that had one night. I don't know how I might have reacted to my son saying, I fell in love with someone and she has a little boy. Well, she does. Well, what happened? God's like, oh, I'm a good father. I'm ordaining this relationship, and he's all our boy. And when we were driving in the car just a few weeks ago to the hospital when our baby Bella was being born, Landon was in the back seat with me. And he said to us, he goes, "Are you going to love Bella more than me?" I thought, oh, my baby boy. Because he's a good, good father. Let me tell you what, you are all mine. Yeah, I don't care what that bloodline is, baby boy. You are my boy. You want to go shopping? So many of you have come up and said, oh my gosh, well, tell me more about your story. What about your parents? What about your brother? What about? I don't know if there are any still back there. Baby girl Murphy has all the scoop. But I'm going to give you a little scoop right now. My brother, 3 years old, also adopted. He had no idea that he was adopted. I didn't have any idea I was adopted. How was my relationship with my parents? As of 2 weeks ago, I really good. Before, it was good. I just met with them. I was doing ministry up in New Jersey and had a chance to be with them. It's been 10 years, and we finally sat and talked through everything. They loved me. My mom said, when I adopted you at 2 weeks, and I'm thinking, when I hear the 2 weeks, I'm like, where was I for 2 weeks? Was I in a hamster cage for 2 weeks? Like, did the nuns hold me? Where were there nuns? Did anyone feed me? Maybe that's my thing, because I enjoy those Shipley's donuts too much, because I didn't have food for the first 2 weeks of my life. Where was I? What was I doing? I don't know. But when they got me at 2 weeks, my mom said it was as if I gave birth to you, and you were all ours. They never wanted me to search and find birth parents that said, I didn't want you then, I don't want you now. They didn't want me to ever feel rejection. And my mom 2 weeks ago said, well, I have to admit, I think there was a little pride on my part, because everyone said, oh my gosh, she looks just like you. And she said, I didn't want to share that with anyone else or have anyone say, what do you mean she's not yours? It was all out of love. And it's all good. It gave me my story. And my parents have come out and said, we just never wanted you to be hurt. And things were different back then. It's all part of my story. And because I walked through that story, God somehow has decided to use this and this mouth to tell my story to different groups. A few years ago, I shared my story. I called it Unexpected Gifts, unexpected, and tied it in kind of to the Christmas theme and how Jesus was unexpected and God gives us unexpected gifts, and my adoption was an unexpected gift. You know, you share and you just hope that it makes some kind of difference in the world, maybe, perhaps. A few weeks later, I received a letter from someone that sat at one of the it was a Christmas tea tables. And she said, I normally don't go to that church, but I was invited, so I went to this Christmas tea, and I heard your story, and I bought your book. And I want you to know, a few weeks later, I found out that my 16-year-old daughter was pregnant. My 20-year-old daughter, I forced her to have an abortion. But the 16-year-old, when she came and said, Mom, I'm pregnant, she said, this time, I said, we're keeping that baby because I heard that lady's story at the Christmas tea. Sometimes we think that unexpected and what am I walking through is all about us. This morning, it seems like a long time ago, and I said, sometimes we think, what is God trying to teach me through this test and this trial in my life? What if it's not even about you? What if what I walked through wasn't even about me? What if it was about my birth mother knowing what happened to that child that she gave up? What if it's about sharing my crazy story at a Christmas tea? And they decorated the tables. Have you been to these events where they're gorgeous? And I couldn't compete with any of you because it would be like plasticware that I could throw out and I'm going home quick. But I happened to share my story, one story out of a bazillion stories, but God said, I'm giving you a brand new, unexpected journey. because there's this 16-year-old girl that is going to become pregnant, and her mother needs to go to a Christmas tea to hear your story so that that baby will live. It's not about me. What you're walking through right now, or what you've walked through, might not even be nearly about your journey. I literally have friends, Facebook friends, I think they're real, I don't know, that have walked through cancer. And I don't know if that's something that you've walked through. And I've heard testimonies say, I didn't know why cancer was part of my story. But through my cancer, I've met so many other people that I would never have met and talked to about Jesus if I didn't have cancer. What are you walking through right now? Is it something so unexpected that you're just thinking, why me? What is this? What if God's just smiling and saying, can you trust me? I'm the Omega. I'm in the end. I'm in your future. And your story is going to change lives. Would it be worth it then? But I don't want cancer. No, who wants cancer? But if your cancer, and I don't know if I keep saying that, what if your cancer ministered to other people your story, and that person, do you remember the Wella Balsam commercial? Do you remember it? Okay, I am dating myself. This is 1970. Do you remember Wella Balsam? It was like the girl was in the wheat field in the commercial, and she said, I washed my hair, and I told a friend, and she told two friends, and do you remember that? Come on. And then the whole screen is multiplied with all the people that were told about Wella Balsam hair. It's not around anymore because it really didn't do much, but anyway, the commercial, I remember the commercial. What if what you're walking through is because you will need to tell someone, and that person will tell someone, and so on, and so on, and so on. And all these people are being reached for the kingdom because of your unexpected, crazy life story. Psalm 139. It's just a good one. Psalm 139. You know me inside and out. You know every bone in my body. You know exactly how I was made bit by bit, how I was sculpted from nothing into something. Like an open book, you watched me grow from conception to birth. All of the stages of my life were spread out before you. The days of my life all prepared before I'd even lived one day. What if your unexpected is the greatest blessing ever? What if your house being flooded was the greatest unexpected ever? There's no surprises. God desires to work through you, through your life and your story. You mentioned some Bible people, and I just kept going, don't mention mine. Please don't mention mine, because if you already had them, I couldn't talk about them. And so you didn't talk about Moses. I love Moses. I do. And if you read through his story, you can see when things were good, Moses would talk to God about like our people, like my people, the Israelites. When they were bad, Moses would talk to God and say, these are your people. Read through that again, like my people, and then let my people go. And in the wilderness, Moses refers to him as, these are your people. Moses' life, he unexpectedly killed the Egyptian, and then unexpectedly lived in the desert for 40 years in the desert. But one day God said, Moses, I'm going to change your life. And as Moses is out there with the sheep, shoveling sheep dung, let's be real, that's what he did. You guide them, shovel their stuff. Not a very exciting life. But one day, Moses heard, Moses. Moses. I'm going to try to get my God voice better. Take off your shoes, take off your sandals. You are on holy ground, Moses. I am about to change your life. You weren't expecting this. It was just another ordinary day out in the wilderness with the sheep. But Moses, I am calling you at 80 into the greatest purpose and days of your journey. Moses, I want to meet with you. You have a calling on your life. What is your calling on your life? What unexpected does God want to do and speak through your life? It's all about here. And I know your heart and pastor's heart. An old song. I grew up in the church. I told you that. It is well with my soul. No matter what unexpected thing happens, no matter what my birth certificate looks like, no matter my son saying I fell in love with someone and she has a son already, no surprise to God. Through whatever news you may receive or may have received, is it well? Is it well? When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well with my soul. Sing it. It is well with my soul. It is well. It is well with my soul. I love a good altar time. I usually don't do this. If you're at a place in your life, maybe where you're going, nah, it's not so well. This unexpected thing, I don't like what's happened in my life. I don't get it. I don't understand. I want to say it is well, but it kind of isn't. Or maybe if you're just at a place where you're like, I like an altar. I want to go meet him up there. This is open. This is open, and we're going to keep singing.